The Cowboys' defense is beginning to take shape, piece by piece, like a long-awaited puzzle, finally falling into place. But the question remains, will it be enough? Is this the moment Dallas finally breaks through and takes that elusive next step? Or is the front office still testing fate, hoping that talent alone can override deeper issues? Cowboys Nation, sound off in the comments. Does this front office deserve praise for their boldness or criticism for pushing the edge too far? And before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates. Let's go. No one saw it coming. When the phone rang in Dallas this week, the Cowboys didn't just make a move, they made a statement. Out of nowhere, a swaggering, explosive talent came roaring in from the Steel City. George Pickens is now a Cowboy. And if you thought he was just here to fill a supporting role, think again. This man arrived in Dallas with confidence bursting at the seams. He's made it crystal clear he didn't come to play second fiddle. He came to dominate. The trade with the Steelers wasn't just a splash, it was a tidal wave. It signaled a seismic shift in the Cowboys' approach. This wasn't about building for the future, this was about winning now. Pickens is one of the NFL's most dangerous vertical threats. Even in a limited, rigid offense in Pittsburgh last season, he still pushed close to 1,000 receiving yards. Now, picture him lining up opposite CeeDee Lamb, with a better offensive line protecting Dak Prescott. The possibilities? Electric? At his official introduction, Pickens didn't hold back. He looked reporters in the eye and said, "You guys talk about 1A and 1B, but I see two big-time guys sharing the field." That comment set the entire locker room ablaze. And he's not wrong. Look at today's elite offenses: Cincinnati with Chase and Higgins, Philly with Brown and Smith, Minnesota with Jefferson and Addison. The modern NFL demands dual threats, and for the first time in years, Dallas might finally have one. Now, with Brian Schottenheimer running the show as head coach, the Cowboys' offense becomes a nightmare to game plan for. You can't double both Pickens and Lamb. Defenses are forced into a lose-lose situation. Either they load up to stop the air attack and open space for the run game and tight ends, or they focus on the box and get torched over the top. That flexibility unlocks the full field for Doc, and for Schottenheimer, it's a tactical dream. But of course, there's a potential storm cloud. Pickens doesn't just bring production, he brings a fiery personality. He demands targets. He wants the spotlight. The key will be chemistry. If he and Lamb can share the stage without ego clashes, the Cowboys' offense becomes virtually unstoppable. But if tension brews over targets and headlines, the locker room could become a ticking time bomb. It's high risk, high reward, and fans are right to feel both excited and cautious. And just when you thought things couldn't get more interesting, let's talk about the backfield, because that situation took a surprising turn of its own. For weeks, fans were buzzing about Nick Chubb. He looked like a lock to become the Cowboys' bell cow running back. Veteran leadership, explosive ability, league-wide respect, he checked all the boxes. Social media lit up with highlight reels and fan-made jersey swaps. The move felt inevitable. But then, silence. And finally, clarity. According to NFL Network insiders, Chubb was never seriously considered. That's right. Despite all the rumors, the Cowboys had zero intention of bringing him in. Why? It all comes down to philosophy and Brian Schottenheimer's vision. Instead of banking on an aging back coming off a devastating injury, Dallas doubled down on youth and competition. They added Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, two guys with proven flashes of greatness, and plenty left in the tank. Then came Jaden Blue and Phil Mafah, two intriguing rookies who've already turned heads in early workouts. It's not about one superstar anymore. It's about depth. It's about variety. It's about backs who can rotate in and out depending on game flow and defensive matchups. Schottenheimer doesn't want a one-size-fits-all bruiser. He wants options. He wants fresh legs late in the fourth quarter. He wants a dynamic committee that forces defenses to guess wrong week after week. And while Chubb's legacy is respected, his style and price tag simply don't fit in Dallas anymore. Nostalgia doesn't win championships. Flexibility does. This shift in strategy shows something deeper too. The Cowboys' front office is evolving. They're no longer chasing headlines or fan approval. They're making calculated, forward-thinking decisions even when it means saying no to a big name. And for a franchise long criticized for its reactive approach, that alone is a breath of fresh air. But what do you think, Cowboys Nation? Did they make the right call by passing on Chubb? Or will that decision come back to haunt them in December, when experience and grit often make the difference? Let me know your take down below. And now, for the final piece of this evolving puzzle, one that could tip the scales for this defense and elevate it into elite territory. It all hinges on a name that's been quietly circulating in trade rumors: DJ Reader. Reader isn't just a solid player, he's a game-changing force in the trenches. A true nose tackle, the kind this defense desperately needs. Let's be honest, Mazi Smith hasn't delivered the impact Dallas hoped for. Jay Toya, while promising, isn't ready to be the anchor. That's where Reader comes in. This is a veteran who's been one of the best run stuffers in football over the last few years. When healthy, his presence alone alters how offenses operate. He forces double teams. He disrupts rhythm. He creates opportunities for linebackers and edge rushers alike. Reader is that guy who makes life easier for everyone else on the field, and the Cowboys have been missing that for far too long. Now here's the situation. Reader is currently in Detroit, sitting on a sizable contract. The Lions, loaded with young talent, may be looking to free up cap space. The Cowboys, on the other hand, have already stretched their own finances with the Pickens deal and a few veteran extensions. But if Detroit is willing to negotiate or even consider a release, the door swings wide open. The cost? Maybe a mid-round pick. That's not too steep, especially for a team already proving it's willing to trade future assets for immediate firepower. And the reward? Huge. Reader would shore up the one area that still feels like a liability: interior run defense. With him eating up space, Mazi Smith can ease into a more specialized role, developing without being thrown to the wolves. It's a win-win on every level. Of course, not everyone agrees. Some fans argue Reader's age and injury history aren't worth the risk. But if Dallas is truly going all in for 2025, and they clearly are, this is the kind of gamble that championship teams take. It's the missing puzzle piece. So here we are. George Pickens lit the fuse. The decision to pass on Nick Chubb signaled a new, no-nonsense mindset. And if DJ Reader arrives, this defense might just complete its transformation into a dominant, playoff-ready unit. The Cowboys aren't chasing narratives anymore. They're building one of their own. This isn't the conservative, predictable front office of years past. This is a franchise making aggressive moves with a purpose. And as the 2025 season looms, the only question that remains is whether all this bold maneuvering finally pays off. So what about it, Cowboys Nation? Has this roster finally turned the page and left the ghosts of the Prescott era behind? Or is there still something missing, something that leadership and chemistry alone can't fix? Drop your thoughts below, And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss what's next. This ride is just getting started.